First, we study it from the distance from sun. Okay, distance from sun. So let me tell you that when we study it from distance from sun, first of all, we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Then we have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. These are the total 8 planets. Now let me tell you that these 4 planets, first 4 planets, are known by the name of the inner planets. This is a question which has been asked various times in the examination. They are known as the inner planets, also known as the terrestrial planets. Why they are known by the name of the terrestrial planets? Let me tell you that because these planets are made up of rocks. So these planets are made up of rocks, and that is why they are known as inner planets or the terrestrial planets: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Then we have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So then we have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. These 4 planets are known by the name of outer planets or Jovian planets. These 4 planets are known by the name of the outer planets or Jovian planets, as these planets are made by the gases. So these are made by rocks and these are made by gases. So we have inner planets or terrestrial planets made up of rocks, and then we have outer planets or Jovian planets made up of gases. Now, when we talk about the size of the planet, sizes. So on the basis of size, let me tell you that something very important. First of all, we have Jupiter. Then we have Saturn. Then we have Uranus. Then we have Neptune. Then we have the Earth. Then we have the Venus. Then we have the Mars, and then we have the Mercury. So these are the planets on the basis of size. Let me tell you that the biggest planet is your Jupiter, then we have Saturn, then we have Uranus, we have Neptune, we have Earth, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. Okay, now let me tell you, we have also 5 dwarf planets. We also have the 5 dwarf planets, means these planets are not the major planets. And what are the name of the 5 dwarf planets? We have Pluto, we have Ceres, we have Eris, we have Makemake, and then we have Haumea. So Pluto, Ceres, Eris, Makemake, and Haumea, these are the 5 dwarf planets. Okay, so Pluto, Ceres, Eris, Makemake, and Haumea, these are the 5 dwarf planets of the solar system. Okay, so I hope it is clear to all of you. This is distance from the sun, this is on the basis of size, and these are the 5 dwarf planets. I hope it is clear to all of you. Can I have the responses? Please respond, my dear students. This is something very important, that all the planets revolve around the sun in the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so all the planets revolve around the sun in the anti-clockwise direction, that is west to east. This is the direction of that is anti-clockwise direction, except Venus and Uranus. Always remember that Venus and Uranus, these are the 2 planets which revolves in the clockwise direction. They do not revolve in the anti-clockwise direction, but they revolve in the clockwise direction. So all the planets revolve around the sun in the anti-clockwise direction, but Venus and Uranus, they revolve in the clockwise direction. One more thing, always remember, dwarf planets are those planets, actually why they are known as the dwarf planets, because their orbit is not stationary. Since their orbit is not stationary, these planets are known by the name of the dwarf planets. Okay, and what happened that the orbit of Earth is very stationary, because what happened that the Earth completes its rotation in 24 hours and completes its revolution in 365 days. So obviously the rotation and revolution time of Earth is very same, that is 24 hours and 365 days. So rotation and revolution time of Earth is same. Why? Because the orbit is very stationary, it moves in a very definite path. But when we talk about this, that is known as the Venus and Uranus, let me tell you that the Venus and Uranus are, when we talk about these dwarf planets, that is we have the Pluto, the Ceres, the Eris, the Makemake, and Haumea. Let me tell you that these planets do not have a fixed orbit, and they take lots of different times. Suppose what happened that sometimes the Pluto used to take 1200 years to revolve around the sun, and sometimes it takes around 1400 years to revolve around the sun. This was the main problem. And so what happened that Pluto was a planet till 2006, but in 2006 what happened that the International Astronomy Association, what happened that they removed Pluto from the list of the major planets and included in the part of the dwarf planets. Okay, clear to all of you? Now we'll start with the planets. First we have the planet called the Mercury. So what happened that this is a sun. Sorry. So this is the type of axis. So we have the Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, like this. So we have the orbit like this. So the first planet that is nearest to the sun is your Mercury. So always remember that it is the innermost planet and it is the smallest planet of the solar system. So first thing is that it is the innermost planet and the first planet of the solar system, and it's also the smallest planet. Now something very important. Since you know that it is nearest to the sun, so what happened that the revolution speed of Mercury is fastest. The revolution speed of Mercury is fastest. It has the fastest revolution speed, and it completes its one revolution around the sun in only 88 days. Means around 3 months. In a time of 3 months, it completes one revolution of the sun. So it completes its one revolution around the sun in only 88 days. That is, in the 3 months, it completes one revolution of the sun. Now let me tell you one thing very important, that it has no atmosphere and it has no satellites. Always remember that it has no atmosphere. It is asked in the examination that which planet do not have an atmosphere. So Mercury do not have an atmosphere. And now what happened that since it do not have an atmosphere, it do not have a cover of gases around itself. So what happened that there is an extreme climatic conditions at Mercury. Mercury has some very extreme temperatures. During the daytime, when the sun is out, the temperature can rise up to around 400 degrees Celsius. And at night, what happened that the temperature can drop up to minus 100 degrees Celsius. So during the day, it can go up to 400 degrees Celsius, and during night, it can go up to minus 180 degrees Celsius. Now you can see that this is something very important. So why this thing happened? What is the reason behind that? The reason behind that, my dear students, is that since it do not have an atmosphere, this is something very important. There is extremity of climate on the Mercury. So Mercury has extremity of climate due to what reason? The reason is that due to there is no atmosphere. And one more thing, always remember that it do not have has any satellites. Let me tell you that all the planets' names has been derived from the name of the gods. Okay, and let me tell you that two gods were famous across the world. That is the Roman gods and the Greek gods. Okay, and let me tell you that Mercury has been derived from the name of Roman god of commerce. It is also known by the name of the Roman god of commerce. So Mercury is known by the name of Roman god of commerce. Okay, so Roman god of commerce is what? Roman god of commerce is Mercury. So let me tell you that it is the most innermost planet, smallest planet, and the first planet. Since it is nearest to the sun, it has the fastest revolution, and it completes its one revolution of the sun in only 88 days. That is around 3 months only. Okay, this is something very important about Mercury. Okay. Clear? Clear to all of you, my dear students? Okay, that's very fine. Now, after that Mercury, we have Venus. Now, let me tell you that it is known by the name of Earth's twin. And it has similar size, density, and the mass of the Earth only. So that is why it is known as the Earth's twin. It is known as the morning star and the evening star. Let me tell you that during the summer days, if the sky is clear and with the God's grace, if there is no pollution, you can see Venus around 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay, that is why it is known as the morning star and the evening star. It can be seen through a naked eye. Always remember that it is also our brightest planet of the solar system. It is the brightest planet of the solar system. This is something very important. It is the hottest planet of the solar system also. Why it is the hottest planet and what happened that people used to give wrong answer to this question. If it is asked the hottest planet, people used to write it as Mercury because they think that it is nearest to the sun. So it will be the hottest planet. But the problem is that it is not the hottest planet. The hottest planet is your Venus. Okay, the hottest planet is your Venus. And why it is the hottest planet? Due to the high concentration of carbon dioxide. Means let me tell you that the content of carbon dioxide at Venus is somewhere around 95%. So you can imagine that how hot the Venus can be. On Earth, let me tell you that the content of carbon dioxide is only 0.03%. When the carbon dioxide is only 0.03% on our Earth, you can see that how hot our Earth is. But when the Venus it has 95%, it will be very, very hot. And let me tell you that unlike the other planets, revolve the clockwise, that is east to west. It do not revolve in the west to east, but east to west directions. Okay. Now the rotation and the revolution time of Venus are nearly same as of Earth. Always remember the rotation time and the revolution time of Venus is almost same as the Earth only, and that is why it is known by the name of the Earth's twin. Now it has no satellite and no atmosphere. Now you will say that, sir, why you are calling it as no atmosphere? Because atmosphere means mixture of gases where there are large number of gases combined to form an atmosphere. But at Venus we have the concentration of only one gas, and that is called your carbon dioxide. Now let me tell you that it is known by the name as Roman goddess of beauty. So Roman goddess of beauty, what is known by the name of Roman goddess of beauty? So Venus is known by the name of Roman goddess of beauty. Okay. Now we have the Earth. Always remember that it is known by the name of blue planet. Why it is known by the name of blue planet? Because of 71% water. Because of the 71% water content, it is known by the name of the blue planet. It is the third planet from the sun and fifth largest planet in terms of size. At present, it is the only planet of the solar system which supports all form of life. Now you can see that I have written that at present it is the only planet because we do not know about what will happen in the future. It has an atmosphere, a moon, and the only natural satellite of the Earth. Always remember, it has an atmosphere and moon is the only one natural satellite of the Earth. Okay. Clear? So this is Earth. Now we have the Mars. Let me tell you that it is known as the red planet due to the high presence of FeO, that is iron oxide. So it is known by the name of red planet due to the high presence of FeO, that is iron oxide. And let me tell you that there is a very important Nix Olympia is the mountain spotted at Mars, and the size of it is approximately 3 times the size of Mount Everest. Now this is something very important. Now Nix Olympia is a mountain which has been spotted at Mars, and let me tell you that the size of Nix Olympia is approximately 3 times the size of Mount Everest. It has 2 natural satellites. We have the Phobos and we have the Deimos. So Phobos and Deimos are the 2 natural satellites of the Mars. So Phobos and Deimos are the 2 natural satellites of the Mars, and is known by the name of Roman god of war. It is known by the name of Roman god of war. Okay. Clear? Now we have the Jupiter. Now it is the lord of the heavens and the biggest planet of the solar system. It has the fastest rotation time of 9.8 hours. So fastest revolution is your Mercury and fastest rotation is your Jupiter, that is only 9.8 hours. Let me tell you, it is so big, it is very big. It has a size that is around 630 times of the size of our Earth. So it is almost 600 times the size of our Earth. Okay. It has 63 natural satellites, out of which Ganymede is the biggest, which is also the biggest satellite of the solar system. Always remember that it has 63 satellites, and out of these 63 satellites, the biggest is Ganymede. And let me tell you that Ganymede is also the biggest satellite of the solar system. So it is the biggest planet and it has the fastest rotation of 9.8 hours. It has 63 natural satellites, out of which Ganymede is the biggest, which is also the biggest satellite of the solar system, and it is known as Roman king of gods. Okay, so it is known by the name of the Roman king of gods. Okay. Now we have the Saturn. It is the second largest planet of the solar system, known as the elegant planet. It is surrounded by rings which are made up of particles of dust and ice. You must have seen the picture of Saturn. It is surrounded by rings. Now people got confused that what these rings are. So let me tell you, my dear students, these rings are nothing. They are made up of dust, and they are the clouds of dust and ice. Now it has 63 natural satellites, out of which Titan is the biggest satellite. It has 62 natural satellites, out of which the biggest is Titan. It is known by the name of Roman god of agriculture. It is known by the name of Roman god of agriculture. So now we have total 6 planets. Now the 7th is known by the name of Uranus. It is known by the name of green planet. Why it is known as a green planet? Because which gas is green in color? Everybody knows that, methane gas. So due to the high content of methane gas, it is the green in color. So it is known by the name of green planet. It is a unique planet as its axis of rotation is inclined to its orbital plane. So unlike the other planets when on this axis, actually Uranus rolls apparently from north to south. So don't have to learn about this. Always remember that it is an exception along with Mercury. So along with Venus. Always remember that Venus and Uranus are the two planets which are the exceptions of the solar system because they do not move in the anti-clockwise direction. It has 21 satellites, out of which Miranda is the biggest satellite. Always remember total number of satellites are 21, and out of which Miranda is the biggest. This name has not been derived from any ancient Roman god, but it is also known by the ancient Greek god. So the name of Uranus is derived from the ancient Greek god. Okay, now we have the Neptune. It has 13 natural satellites, out of which Triton is the biggest, and it is known by the name of Roman god of sea. So now you can see that we have studied all the 8 planets, and out of these planets, all the planets have been derived from the name of the Roman god, except the Uranus, which has been derived from the Greek god. Okay, so these are the 8 planets of the solar system. I hope it is clear to all of you. Can I have the answers, please? Okay. Now we have some other facts. Now the question comes that the first satellite which was sent in space was what? So let me tell you that in the year 1957, the first satellite was sent in space by a country known as Russia. So Soviet Union launched the first Earth orbiting artificial satellite called Sputnik 1 to initiate the space race. Sputnik's radio signals continued for 22 days until the transmitter batteries ran out. So let me tell you that the first satellite which was sent in space was in 1957 by the USSR by the name of Sputnik 1. Now it was a satellite and it was unmanned satellite, means nobody went on this. Okay, now they thought that we need to send someone to the space, and they do not send humans first, but they sent the dog. And on 3rd November 1957, a dog named Laika became the first living creature to orbit the Earth by the satellite Sputnik 2. However, she died of a few hours after launch. Okay, so the first animal which went to the space was a dog named Laika. Finally, in 1961, the first human went to the space, and his name was Yuri Gagarin from Soviet Union, that is Russia. The first human to went into the space in a flight named Vostok 1. So let me tell you, remember the name of these flights. 1957, the flight name was Sputnik 1. 1957, once again, the name was Sputnik 2nd. And 1961, we have the Vostok 1. So let me tell you that what happened that the Russia was already leading the space race. So the main competitor was USA. So the main competitor was what? The main competitor was USA. And USA knows that now they have been left behind in the space race, so they cannot move any forward in the space. So they decided that they are going to go to the moon. In 1969, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin set a new record when they were the first humans to walk on the moon. And the flight which way they went was known by the name of Apollo 11. Apollo 11 was the name of the flight, and there is a very important question that has been asked in the examination, that what is Sea of Tranquility? So what is Sea of Tranquility? So let me tell you that the Sea of Tranquility is a place on moon where the Apollo 11 landed. Now, it was a turn of Indians to go to space, and on 3rd April 1984, Rakesh Sharma became the first Indian to go into space with Soviet Union space program, and the flight name was Soyuz T-11. Okay, so Rakesh Sharma was the first Indian who went into space, but he didn't went from India, he went through the USSR team. Okay, now we talk about two very important space accidents. So let me tell you, 2 space accidents took place. 1986, a very famous space accident took place when a flight named Challenger, what happened that it got disintegrated as soon as it took off. Okay, and 2003, very famous space shuttle Columbia disintegrated over the Texas city in USA. And what happened that in this very famous astronaut from India, Kalpana Chawla, eventually died. Okay, so 2 space accidents took place, 1986 Challenger and 2003 Columbia. Okay. In 2001, American multimillionaire Dennis Tito, always remember, became the first space tourist with 7 days, 22 hours and 4 minutes in space. So the first space tourist was an American multimillionaire, means Dennis Tito. Okay, so Dennis Tito was the first multimillionaire who goes to the space. Okay. Now, it has been asked that which is the biggest spacecraft launch facility in the world. So the biggest spacecraft launch facility of the world, it has been asked, not of India. So let me tell you that the Baikonur Kosmodrome in Kazakhstan is the world's first and largest operational space launch facility. Now the people will ask me, sir, why Kazakhstan? There is no name of Kazakhstan in the space program. Actually, what happened that Kazakhstan is a part of the former USSR, my dear student. So Kazakhstan is a part of the former USSR, and that's why the biggest space center is situated there only. ISRO, let me tell you, ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, situated in Bangalore, is the space agency of India. It was started in 1969. So Indian Space Agency, ISRO, was started in 1969 at Bangalore. But the world's famous space agency, NASA, that is National Aeronautics and Space Administration, situated at Houston, Texas, in USA, is the largest space agency of the world. It was started in 1958. So 1958 it was started. This is something very important. Okay. Now it has been asked that which is the biggest space center of India. So let me tell you that the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, situated at Trivandrum, Kerala, is the largest space center of India. Vikram Sarabhai, everybody knows that he is the very important person, and he is known as the father of the Indian space program. Let me tell you, when we talk about the spacecraft launch facility in India, the spacecraft launch facility in India is situated at 3 places. First is your very famous, known as the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center at Trivandrum, at a place called Thumba. Then we have Captain Satish Dhawan Space Center, situated where? Captain Satish Dhawan Space Center, situated at Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. And then we have Wheeler Island, also known as the APJ Abdul Kalam Island. APJ Abdul Kalam Island situated at Balasore in Odisha. These are the 3 spacecraft launch facilities. So Vikram Sarabhai Space Center at Thumba in Kerala, Trivandrum. Then we have Captain Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. And then we have Wheeler Island, also known as the APJ Abdul Kalam Island, situated at Balasore in the Odisha. These are the 3 very important spacecraft launch facilities in India. Now, let me tell you, when we talk about India space program. So when we talk about the India, so let me tell you that the first satellite which was launched by India. So first satellite which was launched by India was what? So 1975, the first satellite which was launched by India was Aryabhat. So Aryabhat was the first satellite launched by India, and it was unmanned satellite, okay, in the space. Then India comes to the moon program, and then we have the Chandrayaan 1. Chandrayaan 1 was the first lunar mission of India in the year 2008, and this was something very important. Then we have Mangalyaan. Then we have Mangalyaan in 2014. It was a Mars mission. And then we have the very famous Chandrayaan 2, although it was unsuccessful at the last moment in 2019. And let me tell you that India became the first country of the world to reach space on the first attempt. So India was the first country of the world to reach space in the first attempt, and at a very, very, very low cost of only 400 crore rupees. And Chandrayaan 2, let me tell you that although it was unsuccessful, but no worries, because if you are not going to do experiments, then what is the name of science then? Okay, so Chandrayaan 2, let me tell you, India became the first country who was planning to launch on the very famous, you must know that the south pole of the moon. And the Chandrayaan 2, it has 2 things. That is a name of the lander. Lander name was Vikram. Vikram was the name of the lander. Okay, so lander's name was Vikram. It was named on the name. It was named on the name of Mr. Vikram Sarabhai, that is the father of India's space program. And then we have the rover, which is going to click the pictures, and was named by the name of Pragyan. Okay, always remember. So Vikram and Pragyan. Remember the name of these 2 things. Lander was Vikram, and rover was Pragyan. So this ends with the topic of solar system and the universe. I hope it is clear to all of you. Any doubts, please ask. Clear? Clear, my dear students? Any doubts, please ask. Okay, that's very good. Cleared. That's good. So if you have any doubts, please ask in the Q&A section. Do rate the class, you like it or not. Any technical doubts, please reach up the Grader website and the number provided. Have a nice day and do take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Take care and